Hey, bro. I was super skinny. I was the same height I am now, but I was like 40 or 50 pounds lighter than I currently am. So I completely get the feeling. You feel small, you feel weak, and more importantly, you feel like it's hard to gain the respect from other guys. But more interestingly enough, more insultingly, other women don't even respect you on a physical level. And the thing is, that sucks, bro. It sucks being felt like you're being pushed around all the time and you just want to be social and physical with your friends, like on just like a purely like guy, like boyish, like you're wrestling or you're throwing hands with each other, any of that type of stuff. But you always get the short end of the stick. You're always the guy that people pick last in gym class, or you're always the guy that nobody's really interested in just because you don't have the physique or you aren't very attractive or any of those things. I remember this one time that I was at a fitness festival for my school. There were like a bunch of different kids, like from different classes and different grades, and somehow I had got selected to compete in like the pull-up part. I think I was able to do like 6 or 8 pull-ups when I was like, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, something along those lines. And I remember super vividly that there's this one girl, and if she's ever watching this one day, which I highly doubt, but Raylan, if you remember me, this still bothers me to this day. I remember that we had done our pull-up competition. There was a boys section and girls section. They got separate trophies and the genders were like divided essentially, not like American sports today where you have Mike Tyson going up against Sarah. I remember we had done the competition. I'm getting hyped up. All my friends are cheering on me. Like my parents are there, like all this type of stuff. We go, I do the pull ups. I get excited. Zero warm up, zero anything. Wasn't prepared at all. We were little kids. We didn't know any better. And I think I got 6 reps. When Raylan had went, she didn't even slow down until 6. And I went, dang, that sucks. And I had managed to get first in the boys division, but she had got first in the girls division with I think 10 reps. And at the time, I like brushed it off, and it doesn't bother me now. But at the time, I had brushed it off, and I was like, oh, it's not a big deal, whatever. Oh, she's lighter. But deep inside, I knew that as a guy, you're technically supposed to be stronger. And that's 100% a fact, even at that young age. People always say that the girls develop quicker, but at the age we weren't, that wasn't necessarily true. Guys are still supposed to be stronger at that age because the gender groups are still separated traditionally in sport. And I was weak. I was the one who in middle school and kind of even early high school who wasn't able to get the girl because one, I'm short, but two, I'm not very attractive. I wasn't charismatic because I didn't have like that little boost of the halo effect giving me confidence. And now I'm able to go up to anybody, talk to anybody. You put me in an ugly person's body today, and I mean, I like to say I'm fairly pretty. You put me in that body today and I'll be able to talk to anyone or whatever. But back then, when you don't have that initial boost, when you're first starting out, it is so difficult to get to the point to where you're comfortable speaking to people and interacting with people. And I'm telling you, building a physique isn't the thing that's going to give you that, but it's going to put it on easy mode. You're still going to have to kill the monsters or fight the enemy or beat the boss or whatever. The boss stays the same. Just your ability and like the kind of skill set that you can have and you can use is drastically different depending on if you're somewhat built versus you're skinny and you're weird and you're not very physical and people don't respect you on a size to size basis. So, now that we've went over all of that, we're going to be going over the 3 things, and I'm going to be giving you like different topics under each thing that genuinely changed my life to learn about and to talk about and all those different types of things. We're going to be talking about the type of training that you need to be doing as a beginner, as a skinny guy, the diet and how to eat more, as well as strategies for unfair progression. So we're going to get right into that. I'm going to not like waste any of your time. It's only been a couple minutes into the video. Most people would string this on for like 10 minutes and then give you 1 point, like that's kind of valuable, and then just string you on. I'm going to be giving you literally like a paid course. Like this is something I would put in one of my paid programs. Like the info I'm giving you in this like singular video within the next like 10 to 20 to 30 minutes. Everything you need is in this video, and I guarantee you, if you follow the steps that I give you, you will make progress towards your goal significantly faster than if you listen to anyone else on the internet. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Thing number 1, your training. You've heard about different splits, upper, lower, full body, push-pull legs, bro split, where it's like chest and back, then arms and legs and shoulders, all that different type of stuff. But what actually is most optimal? What's best for you? How do you actually like build muscle as a skinny guy? The thing is, you're thinking about it incorrectly. Every single one of those splits I just mentioned, apart from maybe the bro split because it's only training each muscle group 1 time a week, obviously there's ways to maneuver it and all that kind of stuff. Every single one of those splits actually will build muscle roughly the same. At that point, it's kind of just personal preference and what you're able to actually, like the throughput you're able to do. So how much effort you're willing to put in, how many times a week do you want to go, how does it fit with your lifestyle, all that type of stuff. That's not your main goal. If you're skinny and you haven't been going to the gym and you're inconsistent and all these types of things and you don't know where to start, I guarantee you your problem isn't that you're using the wrong split. Your problem is that your mind is wrong. So instead of fixing the gym problem, which is going to just make you inconsistent, which is just going to confuse you because everybody's saying different things. Your mind hasn't been fixed to where you're able to stick with one routine, do it for the next 5 years. And then, yeah, I said 5 years. Do it for the next 5 years and then get the results as you keep progressing. You need right now for the next couple of months to do the same boring routine that's technically unoptimized, but it's going to be optimal for you because of the fact that this is the level that you're on. So what are you going to do? What I want you to do is, and this is something that I did as well, you're going to cycle off between a push day, a pull day, a leg day, but you're going to be doing this every single day. So what I mean by that is you're literally not going to take a single rest day. And you might be thinking, what? Everybody says take rest days. Like, what do you mean? The point is to get the mental aspect dialed in, because realistically, if you've been like training before or you've been trying to get into fitness and any of that stuff, you probably told yourself, I'm going to train every day. I'm going to do 3 times a week this type of workout. I'm going to do 6 times a week this type of workout. I'm going to do 4 times, 5 times, whatever. Have you actually stayed consistent with that? Just real talk, being fully honest, is that something you've actually been able to keep up with? If no, which 99.9% of the people watching this will agree with, is that, yeah, if I'm being completely honest, I probably haven't stuck with it. You will get your rest days just by skipping. So if the goal is to train 7 times a week, you'll probably do 4, 5, or 6 times. If the goal is to train 3 times a week, you'll probably train 1, 2, or 3 times, which is cool because if you get that 3 consistently, then you're like, okay, I'm hitting the goal, whatever. But you would actually get better results if you missed your goal, but you had a higher goal. This is what I'm asking you to do. So actionable step is I want you to do something, and I'm going to be giving you this for like each part of this video, each segment of the video is I'm going to be giving you an actionable step, something that you can actually do right now that will guarantee you progress if you follow it. What I want you to do is I want you to write down on a piece of paper, and I'll show it on screen, is something called a habit tracker. It's essentially just like a couple of lines with numbers on the side. It could be like the date of the month. You can say like if it's October right now, you can say October habit tracker. You can even call it like a protocol, like your own individualized protocol, like skinny to strength protocol, like whatever you want to call it. Just give it a name, give it something that like you can consciously think in your head, like, oh yeah, my piece of paper called, and then whatever the name you put, just call it like your October habit tracker, call it like the skinny to strength blueprint, call it the skinny to skills blueprint, whatever. I have a program named that. That's kind of where I got the idea from. But you're going to write that. You're going to write the little numbers on the side, like I'm kind of showing on screen right now. And what you're going to do is you're going to check the box every time you do the day that you're supposed to do. So right now you're just putting like an E for exercise. So in the box, and I'll have it like circled on screen or whatever, or I'll make it noticeable. You'll have E for exercise, or have exercise written out. If you were to do 1 push-up right now, and this is your actionable step, literally fill this out right now. If you were the guy or the type of guy who's actually going to be successful in this, you would get this done like literally instantly. You would pause the video, you would go down on your floor, you do literally 1 push-up, you do like 3 jump squats just to like say you did extra than what I said you had to do. Then you would check off the box and you get the little bit of fulfillment and a little bit of joy from doing the thing. That's all. And you might be thinking, what? But that's not going to build me muscle. I need to get jacked, man. No, it's not going to build you muscle. But it's the most optimal thing for you right now because it's actually going to build your mind into getting into that consistency loop. The thing is, if you've never exercised before, just doing 1 push-up is more than you are used to. That is progress in the right direction. Everybody thinks if I need to get into running, I need to start with 1 mile or 10 miles or whatever. If I get into sprinting, I need to go straight for 100 meters, full speed, all that type of stuff. If I get into volleyball, wrestling, or boxing or whatever, I need to be the best one in the gym at all times. First day in the gym, I need to train 5 hours a day, every single day to catch up. I'm getting left behind. Everybody else is better than me. Oh my God, all this stuff is happening. But what if you just did 0.2 miles? What if you just did 1 push-up? What if you just trained in the boxing gym for 30 minutes and tried to replicate that every single day? Over the course of 10 years, as you progress, and that's the next step we're going to get into is progressive overload, you might be doing that 5 hours a day, but you would have been more consistent throughout. So you have 2 people. You have one guy who said, I'm going to train 5 hours a day every single day, and I'm going to be so disciplined and whatever. Day 1, day 2, day 3, he trains. Day 4, now he's tired. Now he's not really used to it. His body isn't ready for it. He's not adapted, all those different types of things. He failed. He skipped another day. He skips a whole week, and then he gets back on it. Skips another week, gets back on it. Takes a break for a couple of months because it's too much for him. Versus the guy who says, I'm just going to do 10 minutes of like hitting the bag every single day. I know it's probably not going to do much, but I just want to get into the habit. As he builds up and as he progresses and as he kind of has this improvement-based mentality, like the whole 1% better every day, as he has this improvement-based mentality, he'll actually go for longer. The practices will be higher quality. He'll be able to adapt to it easier because he's not just throwing himself in instantaneously. But also he's going to be able to stack up more small wins that convinces himself that he is a disciplined guy who will do the thing that he set out to do. And that's the most important thing. Your goal right now isn't to get jacked. It isn't to do the optimal training. It's to be in the mental framework of the guy who is that, who is strong, who is confident, who is able to go talk to that girl or talk to that guy or be friends with that person. You need to get into that mental framework to think, I am that guy. And it may not look it on the outside right now, but that's the person that I'm striving to be. That peak figure, whoever it is that you look up to, that peak figure that it is that you look up to, you are that guy in 10 years. And you are doing all of the right things to get to that point right now. Regarding progressive overload, you're going to start bare minimum 1 push-ups a day. Don't be a retard and do that for the next 3 months. What I'm asking you to do is still try and challenge yourself. So 1 push-up might be a little bit inconvenient right now. It might be a little bit hard, whatever, just because you're not used to it. What I want you to do is from now up until months from now, until you actually get properly into the gym and like you watch maybe some other of my videos and you learn how to properly program and you get into calisthenics and all that type of stuff and you get into regular like gym training. What I want you to do is I want you to constantly try and make a little bit more progress. So let's say you do push-pull legs and then you have your next push day. So your first push day, you did 3 push-ups. The next push day, do 4. And then the next one, do 5. And then the next one, do 6. Maybe for your pull day, if you're doing like different exercise or whatever, you curl your like at-home weights for 20 reps, 1 set. Maybe do 20 reps for 2 sets. Maybe try and make your technique a little bit better. Maybe look up technique maxing or however you say it, technique maximizing or technique videos on how to do the exercise better. Try and progress in something every single session. Not only this, but you need to progress in your knowledge as well. So like I keep saying, this isn't optimal training. This is optimal for you because of the mental framework that you need to put yourself in. You need to become the type of guy who is able to step in, make progress every single day, whether he wants to or not. You'll miss some days, but that's completely fine. That's why you have the habit tracker to check to see if you're doing too much, too little. If you're consistent every single day, then you're doing too little. If you're missing 2, 3, 4 days in a row very consistently, then maybe dial it back a bit, maybe purposefully give yourself some easier sessions, and then you build up from there. This is the type of thing that takes weeks or months to actually get high in. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to give you any BS like these other guys who are like, 15 to 20 sets, and technically for beginners, it's optimal to do compound movements because it teaches you motor unit recruitment. Shut up. You know what an exercise looks like. You know what a push-up is. You know what a sit-up is. You know what a bodyweight squat is or a pull-up or any of these things. You understand how to do those things. Now it's up to you to just do them. And if you're not able to do a pull-up, for example, do an easier variation like an Australian pull-up. Do them with your feet on the ground. Use a band. All these types of things. If you're interested, if you just want to build the physique aspect, then you can get into like bodybuilding and all that type of stuff, and you'll just have like the cool physique and all that kind of stuff. But if you want the cool physique and also you want to be able to have like superhuman skills like I do, like when it comes to calisthenics and so many other guys who I help achieve, like getting my clients to their first handstand push-ups and muscle ups and being able to do heavy weighted pull-ups with like 90 pounds, 100 pounds, something along those lines. If you're interested in being able to do all of that stuff in the future and getting jacked at the same time, then first link in the description, super cheap. It's my paid calisthenics school. Essentially, I just teach you everything I know about getting stronger and all that type of stuff. And I teach you about consistency and I give like bonus lectures and everything's explained in that actual like link. So if you're curious about that, go to the link in the description. Thing number 2, the diet and eating more. The reason 100% that you are small is not because you're not training right, Not because you're not sleeping right, not because of anything. The reason why you are not at the body weight that you want to be at is because you are not eating enough. And the thing is, you suck at eating. You don't know how to eat for anything. I didn't know how to eat for anything. I still, to this day, I can eat more than anyone I know, but I still hate it. And I don't know if that hate goes away. Maybe there's a way for me to love it. I don't know. But you need to stop thinking, okay, I'm just going to like, eventually I'll enjoy the eating and eat foods that I enjoy, even though they're unhealthy and all this types of stuff. I want you to imagine, just think for a second, imagine being the type of guy who knows he hates the nutrition part. He knows that it's inconvenient and it's going to make his stomach hurt and he's going to like be really sleepy and not be able to perform as well as he wants to afterwards, up until like a few hours later when he has his next training session. Then he drains himself and then he has to go to bed, and then he didn't get all the stuff done he wanted to get done because he's eating so much, because he's trying to get to a decent size quick enough to where he actually like has some semblance of like self-respect for himself, because it is for you at the end of the day. Imagine that type of guy. Imagine the discipline and dedication, the motivation required that you can literally give to other people. The only reason you're listening to me right now is because I'm motivating you in some way. Nobody watches like 10, 15, 20 minutes into a video, whatever point we're at, and thinks, oh, well, I just like the information he's giving, because there are tons of people who give probably better advice than I do. The reason you're listening to me is because I am motivating you in some way. I'm giving you some type of drive. You see my past self in you and you want to get to the level that I'm at or even higher. That is the reason you're listening. And the thing is, you can do that for someone else. You can 100% motivate someone. I've had people who've come up to me and say, you know, man, like in person, who don't even know that I do YouTube, don't even know I make these types of videos, don't even know that I coach or any of that stuff, who have literally come up to me and my friends in person, like my gym buddies, who have come up to me and my friends and have been like, you know what, guys, I was really overweight for a while. But seeing like the shape that you guys are in, like hearing you in class, like occasionally talk about like the exercises you're doing and all that type of stuff, and like your new gym PRs, like all that type of stuff. I thought it was a little weird at first, but I saw like how happy and passionate it made you. And I actually started to realize like if I was good at it, I would enjoy it also. Now I'm down 50 pounds. That's a real conversation one of my friends had with someone, one of my best friends, who all he does is just lift weights. You can have that effect on someone. And you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your future children, you owe it to your future wife and your friends and all these types of people, all the people in your future, all the people in your past and your current self, to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And right now you are not that, and you're not striving for that. If you do these actionable steps that I am giving you, you will be that. Or at least you'll be closer. So that's what I want you to do. I can tell you the basic advice of drinking liquid calories, eating more fat, adding cheese and sauces to like all of your meals to try and like pack in more calories without really noticing a difference. But there's a ton of that on the internet. My actionable step to you is eat at least once a day to where you're at such a discomfort you can't do anything for like the next 10 to 20 minutes. This is what I had to beat into myself to gain the 50 pounds that I gained. Mostly muscle, by the way. Like I'm fairly lean. Like this webcam quality is like not as good as I'd like it to be, but like you can see kind of in it, like there's a separation between the two heads of my bicep. Who has that? I'm 17. I basically train like a professional street lifter, professional calisthenics athlete. Who has that? Me and like maybe 10 other people online. Which you might think, oh, 10 people. Out of all the people who perform in the gym and do the sport and all that type of stuff, 10 people who are in like my space. I only know about one other of them. So I'm rounding up. Think about how crazy that is. I'm the one giving you advice. So just listen to it. What I want you to do is put on your habit tracker. This is the second thing you're putting on your habit tracker. Set the goal for eating to a massive level of discomfort. I want it to be the amount to where when you eat for the next 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer, you genuinely kind of want to throw up because it's that uncomfortable. And that's going to be hard. And you're going to feel like a little bit sad or like you did something wrong or guilty for not getting to that point if you're like truly dedicated to this craft. But that's fine. Progressive overload. Tomorrow you might eat more than you ever have before. But you kind of feel fine, like you can move around okay, and like it's a little discomforting, but you're actually okay. That is what you want. And you want to keep repeating that every single meal, every single day for the rest of your life until you're either at the weight that you want or it's time to cut. But guys like you, guys like me and you who have like these skinny guy genetics, we don't really have to cut. I'm probably like, I would say like in between 12 and 14% body fat, depending on the season that I'm in. Like, and 14% probably is like a little bit genuine or generous, like towards the amount of body fat that I have here. But I don't get fat. You probably don't get fat. The reason why you don't see your muscles and all that type of stuff is because the food quality that you're eating like shit food basically, or you're just skinny and you don't have a lot of muscle, which doing these actionable steps will fix. Eating more and training hard every single day, constantly progressing, constantly making progress, all these different types of things. I guarantee you 6 to 12 months from now, you will look like a different human. You're not going to look like me. You're not going to look like that random guy on social media, but you will look like someone else. And that's awesome to be able to say, especially if you're a younger guy and you're about to go through puberty and all those different types of things. I guarantee you, your life will change like you can never believe. Just a side story. I've trained like a tiny bit of arm wrestling in the past, and just the ability of being strong is such a cheat code socially and such a cheat code for like the level of respect that you get. I had the other day in one of my like psychology classes, we had a substitute teacher, so our teacher was gone and we had like someone filling in. The other day in one of my psychology classes, I had 3 girls arm wrestling with 2 hands at the same time, so 6 hands against mine total. And my arm didn't break. I was holding them the entire time, and I was actually winning. Like, I was climbing up their hand, and I was coming this way, and I was putting them to the table. Can you imagine, like, how much of a Chad you feel like afterwards? Like, I felt like the man. Think about how awesome that would be. And I'm not saying you're going to unlock that instantly. Like, I do weighted pull-ups with, like, fucking 120, 135 pounds fairly easily. That's going to take you a couple of years to get to that point, plus a wrist training, plus a dedicated arm wrestling training, and all that type of stuff. But imagine one day when you get to that point. Imagine how cool that would be to be able to say, whoa, I'm actually able to do that. And you're going to remember. I remember when Brandon made that one video. And it was called something along the lines of, hey, bro, if I was ashamed of being skinny, this is what I would do. Here's what I would do. Think about how powerful that is. You taking action on this video can change the rest of your life. Can change your social circles, can change your relationships, can change your friendships, can change the way you look at yourself. All that you have to do is take action and never stop taking action until you find the better alternative. Because the more advanced you get, the more you branch out into different directions. You can probably follow this advice for the next 6 to 12 months and make awesome progress. After that point, now it's time to watch other ones of my videos. Now it's time to get into my paid program. Now it's time to watch other people's videos and all those different types of things on how to progress and how to get better and how to do more and how to do not only more, but do more in the right directions. That is the ultimate cheat code. This is number 3. Strategies for unfair progress. We're going to be going over increasing testosterone, naturally, obviously, sleep, and then I'm going to be giving you a fun training intensity technique that you can try once you get a little bit more advanced, or if you just want to try it for fun, because it is really fun and super effective for building muscle. First thing, increasing testosterone. There's a couple different things that you can do in order to increase your overall test levels. One of them is actually reducing cortisol. Cortisol is essentially like your stress hormone. And when your stress hormone piles up, all of your other like positive hormones get diminished, including testosterone. So all of your good hormones get reduced when you have a high level of stress, high level of cortisol. One of the things that I found is meditation and gratitude journaling, writing down things that you're grateful for, and essentially just deep breathing, trying to be present in the moment. I'm not going to go over all the science. If you look up Yale, like the college, like the university, if you look up Yale University Science of Well-Being course, it'll go over all this stuff and it'll actually go into the science and the practical applications, all this type of stuff. I'm just going to be giving you the practical applications for guys like me and you who actually like dedicate our lives to this thing and like want to actually do more and push harder and actually get the unfair advantage towards progression. How do you meditate? All you're going to do is you're just going to close your eyes, breathe in hard, and push out. That's it. You breathe in hard through your stomach. Try and get like deep into your balls, like as deep as you possibly can, like into your stomach area, kind of like you're bracing for a punch. Brace hard. Breathe in through your chest. And then push out, same direction it came in. So it goes up, breathe in, and then down, breathe out. You're going to do this. You can start with 1 minute. You can start with 2 minutes. You can start with 3 minutes. You can start with an hour. It doesn't matter. Pick a time that you can meditate every single day for the rest of your life. Either do it first thing when you wake up, after like you get out of bed and like you don't fall back asleep because it's like kind of boring, or right before you go to bed. So either do it first thing in the morning or first thing when you wake up. Incorporate it into your morning routine. Wake up 3 minutes earlier. Literally, some people think this is weird. Like, I don't have enough time to do the thing because if I wake up at 6:30, then it's too early. But if I wake up at 7, I don't have enough time. Literally, just set your alarm back 5 minutes. Are you a retard? It's that simple. It really is. Set your alarm back 5 minutes. Do this first thing in the morning. Your life will change in a year. Your life will change in 3 months. Your life will change in a month, probably. Meditate 5 minutes a day for the rest of your life. 5 minutes is kind of like the bare minimum to see like noticeable changes within like a short period of time. Anything else is kind of just like working up to the 5-10 minute mark. 10 minutes is like when you see a giant difference. 20 minutes is when you see a huge difference. And then anything past that kind of is like more diminishing returns. I've tried doing half an hour a day, 45 minutes a day, 60 minutes a day, whatever, for like long periods of time. Personally, it's not for me. It's I can stick with 20 minutes. I stick in between like 5 and 20 depending on the day. I kind of do it more like daily undulating, so it kind of like ebbs and flows depending on the day or the circumstance or whatever, because I'm a little bit more advanced in that way. But for you, I'd recommend literally just set a time you can do every single day. Set an alarm on your phone. Meditate. Stop what you're doing instantaneously. Finish up like the little bit of work you were doing or whatever. Close everything down, close your eyes, start breathing, and just try and focus on the breath. A lot of people get upset and say, oh, meditation doesn't work for me because I can't focus. That's the entire point of it. You want to lose focus, and then you practice by regaining focus. This keeps you stay present, this keeps you grounded, and allows you to reduce your stress, therefore indirectly increasing your testosterone levels. Same thing with gratitude journaling. Writing down just a couple of things you're grateful for. This might be one. This one isn't. But just writing down a couple of things that you're grateful for. Just like an example would be, I'm grateful for making this video because I know for a fact I'm going to be able to help a version of my younger self that somebody else couldn't have helped when I was at that stage. That's a super like specific, like hyperly autistic thing that I can say, and that actually gave me like a little bit of happiness points. Like I'm genuinely like, not enough to like smile externally, but I'm internally smiling a little bit, if you kind of get what I mean. So meditation, gratitude journaling, makes you happy, reduces stress, and it's actually, anxiety is another emotion that kind of reduces like your positive hormones. It's impossible to feel grateful and anxiety at the same time. They come from the same part of the brain, and if you feel gratitude, then it's impossible to feel anxiety. And if you feel anxiety, it's impossible to feel grateful. You pick one. It's a switch. It can switch quickly, but it is a switch. So the longer you can stay grateful, the less you will experience anxiety. Next thing, this might be more actionable. This is less like woo-woo, like, oh, hippie, like whatever. Like most people won't take action on those 2 steps. I say add them to your habit tracker, but if you're a retard and you don't want to listen to me, even though I've given you tons of value completely unfiltered, then you don't have to. Next thing, eat 2 to 5 eggs every single day. The reason I say 2 to 5 and not like a certain number is because if you have parents, they might not like you eating all of their eggs. Eat 2 to 5, that's reasonable, whatever. I eat personally 4 to 5 every single day. I've tried 6, a little bit too much. Parents don't like that. 5 is kind of the limit for me. 4 is kind of the limit for me. And then all of those things is cool. Essentially, eggs have like the perfect types of fats and cholesterol and all that type of stuff. It has like the good cholesterol, which actually converts, not quite 1-to-1, but it converts to testosterone. So if you were low on it before, then your testosterone is going to boost a decent bit, and you're going to be able to build muscle faster. You're going to be able to be more attractive and more lean and retain less water and all this different type of stuff because of the fact that you have higher test levels. And most people are lacking. These are some things that kind of reverse the parts of society and the parts of your lifestyle that have ruined that. Another thing, bit of bonus information, stay away from plastics. Plastics, pretty much every single kind of plastic has a bunch of like BPAs and like all these different types of chemicals, and they're all essentially what are called endocrine disruptors. When they get into your skin, when they get into your bloodstream, everybody has a like, I think the new statistic was everybody eats a credit card size like chunk of plastic. So like still thin, but like still noticeable. Like if you were to just eat a credit card, like I would look at you like you're insane. Everybody eats that every, I believe it's 1 week or 2 weeks. Plastic is actually a huge thing that's ruining our hormones, and we're just now kind of learning if we can reverse it. And if you're curious, like one of the things you can do is like heat exposure, like saunas and being out in like the hot sun and sweating out all of it, apparently, or not apparently, but supposedly. It doesn't get rid of all of it, but it does get rid of a big portion of it. There's a guy, Brian Johnson, who's into like, he has the whole model of like living as long as possible. Like he's perfectly optimized human health. He actually is one of the first people to do plastic tests. So, you know, when you get like a COVID test or like a flu test, or like you swab your nose or like your tongue or whatever, with the Brian Johnson test, the one for plastics, you like, I think it's like your spit or your sweat or whatever, like you have to do some jumping jacks and then like rub it on your skin or whatever. I don't quite know what it is, but there's a way to check like your level of like microplastics inside your bloodstream. If you can limit, don't use plastic cups, don't drink out of straws, don't have like weird like cutting boards, or another one that people overlook where like your mom slices the plastic cutting board and then slides the meat in, or like slides the veggies in and then the plastics go in. So bad for you. Generally, just eat healthy. You know what that looks like. I don't have to explain that to you, but if you follow all these steps, I guarantee you, if you were to get blood work now and you weren't doing these things, and if you were to get blood work 1 or 2 months from now, your testosterone would be notably higher, maybe even 2, 3, or 4xing from today. Next thing, sleep. This is also how you increase the testosterone, but I have a whole section on it. Consistency is over everything. So it's actually better to sleep from 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. instead of sleeping from a random time, let's say sometimes 10 p.m., sometimes 11 a.m., sometimes, what am I saying? 12 a.m., 11 p.m., whatever, sleeping within like a 3-4 hour window and waking up within a 3-4 hour window, completely random, or having a schedule throughout the week and then sleeping in a ton on weekends, all that type of stuff. That's actually negative for your sleep because it screws with your circadian clock. So what that means is your brain essentially has a little clock in it that tells you when to go to bed, when to wake up. It knows this is why you always on weekends tend to wake up at the same time as you do on weekdays. And then if you fall asleep past that point, it's kind of like super shallow sleep. Consistency is most important. You should rather get 7 hours of sleep that's consistent than 7 to 9 hours of sleep that's inconsistent. That is better for you objectively. Talk to any sleep expert. They will tell you the same thing. Obviously, still try and get like 8, 9, 10 hours, whatever. But if you had to pick one, the less sleep but more consistent would actually be better for you. Next thing, in bed time versus sleep time. 8 hours in bed is not 8 hours of sleep. People get this confused all the time. 8 hours in bed means you have to fall asleep, which normally takes about 20 minutes. You wake up a couple times throughout the night. Maybe you have to go to the bathroom because you drank water or whatever. Or maybe let's say, just for simplicity, you don't wake up. You just flow in and out of deep sleep and shallow sleep and like waking up, because you do actually wake up throughout the night. It's impossible not to. You wake up every so often. Let's say you're up for another 40 minutes throughout the night. You're in bed for 8 hours, but it takes you 20 minutes to fall asleep, and you're awake for 40 minutes in small bursts. So like maybe 8 times you'll wake up for 5 minutes, which isn't that crazy. You actually only slept 7 hours when you thought you got 8. Now you're tired. Now you're sleep deprived. Now your hormones aren't as good. Now your brain doesn't work as well. Now you're not recovering as good as you could have been. Now what you need to do is you need to think, okay, if I want to sleep 8 hours, I actually need to be in bed 9 hours. If I want to sleep 9 hours, I need to be in bed 10 hours. That is the thing that's actually going to allow you to make your best progress. Sleep is like a steroid. It genuinely is. If you are underslept versus people who sleep a ton, you will experience heavy results unless you're a genetic anomaly. I've seen this talked about before, where people will look at like Ronnie Coleman and be like, he only slept 4 hours a week. Ronnie Coleman's a freak. He has the perfect genetics. He has the most beautiful genetics for absolutely anything that he ever wanted to do. Ronnie Coleman, all of him respect, absolutely awesome guy, but don't model him for lifting advice, for sleep advice, whatever. Maybe lifting advice because he was Mr. Olympia like 18 bajillion times. But what I mean is, when it comes to intensity and staying safe and all that kind of stuff, slipped a spinal disc multiple occasions. I wouldn't recommend. Anyways, next thing for sleep. Get sunlight first thing. This helps reset your circadian clock. So when you wake up and there is sun, like is outside right now, when you wake up and there's sunlight in your eyes, that's basically just signaling through your eyeballs to your brain, just essentially saying, hey yo, this is time we wake up. Like a little like Italian dude, like banging on your window. Hey yo, mama. Hey, you got the spaghetti? I don't know why he sounds like that. I don't even know what accent that is. I think that's like a Spanish guy. Anyways, getting sunlight first thing in the morning, very, very important. Good for testosterone just because sunlight's good for testosterone, but that's a little bit overblown in the research of like how effective it is. But it is actually surprisingly effective. It will make a difference if you were deficient in like vitamin D and other like sunlight materials and minerals and all that kind of shit from before. But the main thing is to reset your circadian rhythm. You can even use like a bright light. If you download on your phone like a lux meter, LUX dot or even space, I guess, METER. If you were to type that into like your search bar on Google Play or the Apple Store or whatever, and you were to put your phone outside where the sun is, the number will be like really big, like in 10,000s or 100,000s, like what the number is. If you're inside, the number is significantly less. And it's not because it's tricking you. It's not because it knows something that like you don't want it to know. It's because sun gives off way more light than a lamp on the inside, even though you can kind of see everything the same, which is a little bit interesting. But just keep that in mind. So, what have we went over? We went over increasing testosterone. We went over sleep. What else? Myoreps. This is the intensity technique, like the training technique that I actually love and I think is super important for beginners because it's very fun, very time effective. Don't have to be in the gym for a long time. Don't have to rest a ton to get the same amount of work in. And it's just super fun and awesome like bro shit. It's time saving. It's especially good for isolations and high rep training, and it's super fun. So what do? Let's say you are doing push-ups, for example. And let's say you can do 20 reps in a row. You would purposefully aim for 20 your first set. So if you don't know what sets are, but basically it's like you start and then stop. That's one set. So you do 20, you started, you stop. Your first set, you just did 20 reps. Your second set, you rest maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes. You're too tired to do another 20 if you truly pushed as hard as you could in set one. Now what you're going to do is you start your set and you fail at 13 or 15. Let's say 15. You fail at 15. What you do is you actually take a short break, 5, 10, maybe 15 seconds, and you do another couple of reps. Maybe you get 18. You get 18. Cool. Rest a little bit. You do the last 2. You did 20 reps in your second set, but you got close to failure 3 times. The effectiveness per unit of time is significantly higher. So this is a method you can use in order to not only build tons of muscle in a very fun way, but in a very short period of time also. If you are interested in my Maloney Athlete Academy, where I teach you how to do muscle ups and handstand push-ups and 9-degree handstand push-ups, and I teach you how to do really explosive, like front levers and explosive front levers, what? I teach you how to do front lever pull-ups and planche progressions, and I give you like bonus content on like stuff that I don't share on the internet and training plans on how to go from 0 pull-ups and 0 dips all the way up to doing 50% of your body weight for 10 reps on weighted dips and doing 30 to 40% of your body weight for 6 to 8 reps on weighted pull-ups and being able to do muscle-ups and handstand push-ups and training your wrists to where you have the wrist strength of like a professional arm wrestler like I do. If you're interested in any of that, if that sounds even remotely attractive to you, I ask you, go to the first link in the bottom of the description, or first link in the top of the description, I guess, below the video, essentially. I hope I gave you a ton of value. I hope this helped. Go to the link, like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Watch another one of my videos if you found this helpful. Leave a comment saying the actions you're going to take, the actions that you already took, and then reply to yourself saying, hey, it's been a month. I made X progress. Look at me go. I'll probably give it a heart. I'll probably look at it a little bit later and be like, yo, that's awesome, bro. Good for you. So, my name has been Brandon. Keep doing the best and doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.